conference to resolve problems for domestic businesses. Vietnam to develop national tourism brand.
Hello, another week has just gone by, and here we are again on another episode of BizLine brought to you by VTV International. I'm Dai Chang. First, we'll start our show today by taking a quick look at the highlights of this week's news. Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc met with Vietnamese enterprises in a conference in Ho Chi Minh City on Friday to discuss ways to build a favorable environment for businesses. The conference, which is accessible online, attracted the participation of nearly 1,000 companies from all 63 provinces of the country. The event was an opportunity for the government to listen and directly resolve the difficulties that businesses face. After the online conference, the Prime Minister joined with members of the government to discuss potential solutions to all the comments posed by businesses during the online conference. Just before the conference on Thursday, the Prime Minister signed a resolution to improve business environment and support Vietnamese businesses. The Ministry of Planning and Investment has recently established a development fund to support small and medium-sized enterprises. With a chartered capital of nearly $90 million, the establishment of the fund shows the determination of the Vietnamese government in mobilizing sources to boost the private sector, creating a driving force for national economic development. Small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, are the backbone and driving force of the economy. However, they have faced challenges such as a shortage of high-quality laborers and a lack of capital for startups and business expansion. The fund will receive, manage and use funds from the seed budget and other organizations and individuals at home and abroad. It will outline policies and implement international cooperation activities to support small and medium-sized enterprises development. The Ho Chi Minh City Authority plans to mobilize $11.5 billion of capital for supporting businesses this year. The project is to be achieved by asking banks to help. If the plan goes well, the amount will be higher than the total disbursed funds over the past 4 years combined. According to the State Bank branch in Ho Chi Minh City, the reason for this surge in capital demand is because the local business community has recovered considerably over the last few years. That's why banks are now more willing to lend businesses money. Under this package, the lending rates will be fixed at a preferential level, 1 to 2% lower than the normal rate. The April Consumer Price Index, or CPI, increased 0.33%, the highest on-month increase since 2012, with the prices of most goods and services rising, according to the General Statistics Office. After flatlining in January and slowly picking up in the following months, inflation this year has reached 1.33% compared to 0.04% in the same period last year. Among the 11 baskets making up the Consumer Price Index, transport prices grew the most, with 1.73%, as fuel prices increased by 3.83% on month, following two fuel price rises at the end of March and early this month. Inflation registered a record low of 0.63% last year, but is expected to rise 5% this year. Now, Thailand has become Vietnam's leading automobile exporter in the first quarter of this year, with a volume of more than 7,800 units, a 64.5% increase compared with the same period last year. Statistics from the General Department of Vietnam Customs showed Thailand was followed by the Republic of Korea with 3,560 units and China with 2,260 units, a year-on-year decline of 41% and 58% respectively. Of the cost for production of vehicles in Vietnam, taxes and fees occupied 40 to 50% of the value. The remainder was for vehicle production. However, the cost was 20% higher than that of other regional countries because Vietnam depended on 80% of auto parts imported from foreign countries. The Vietnam Macadamia Association was launched in Central Highlands province of Lâm Đồng, Đà Lạt City on April 24th. It aims to represent enterprises, organizations, and individuals in the macadamia business. The association convened its first congress to elect a 13-member executive board with Liên Việt Post Bank chairman Dương Công Minh as chairman. The Congress agreed an agenda that focuses on sustainably developing a modern macadamia sector where business gains bring prosperity to farmers. According to a plan approved by the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the Northwest and Central Highlands regions will plant macadamias on 9,940 hectares of land and develop 12 processing units by 2020. Those are what have made headlines from the past week. Up next, we'll talk about the strategy to develop the national tourism brand in our cluster. Now, tourism is playing an increasingly significant role in Vietnam's development, contributing about 9.5% to the national GDP last year, according to the World Travel and Tourism Council. Promoting sustainable tourism has become one of the main tasks for the country. In order to learn more about the development strategy of the sector, including the plan to promote national tourism brand and measures to increase the sector's competitiveness, we have in our show today Dr. Lê Tuấn Anh, Deputy Director of International Cooperation Department under the Vietnam National Administration of Tourism. But first, let's take a quick look at our short clip.
In preparation for the establishment of the ASEAN community, ASEAN countries signed 8 mutual recognition agreements, or MRAs, with the goal of facilitating regional trade and investment. Among the 8 MRAs, the MRATP is the agreement signed for the tourism industry. The agreement was adopted during the 12th ASEAN Summit. Currently, ASEAN is urgently finalizing elements to have the MRATP formally adopted in early 2016. Under the agreement, a person who meets the requirements set by common regulations can apply or work in any member state within ASEAN, thus allowing more freedom of labor movement within the bloc. Therefore, to take advantage of the benefits of the MRATP and the integration of ASEAN tourism, all stakeholders in tourism, including managers, businesses, and employees, must endeavor to enhance competitiveness and implement policies that attract and retain talent in the stronger competitive environment of ASEAN.
Dr. Lê Tuấn Anh, thank you so much for joining us in our show today. First of all, Vietnam's involvement in the mutual recognition agreements on tourism professionals, or MRATPs, is considered one of the first steps of the country to connect its local tourism to international market. So how does this tool facilitate Vietnam's tourism?
MRATP is only one of the initiatives to support the formation of AEC. Yes. MRATP facilitates the easy movement of the labor force among ASEAN economies. The other area of tourism involved in forming the AEC includes joint tourism product development and joint marketing campaign, standardization of tourism services among ASEAN countries. This is not a start. This process started about 10 years ago. And the year 2015 is only a symbolic time to strengthen the connectivities among ASEAN countries.
So regarding the country's integration process, where is Vietnam located on the global tourism map?
10 years ago, when the number of international tourists to Vietnam was only about 3.5 million international tourists per year, people regarded Vietnam as an emerging destination. Yes. But now, with nearly 8 million international tourists, Vietnam has become an established destination with adequate infrastructure, standard facilities, and qualified services, and especially with prominent values.
Vietnam Timeless Charm has been selected to be the national tourism's brand identities since 2014. This is the very first time that a detailed and professionally designed brand identity is made to promote Vietnam's tourism. Over the past years, the National Tourism Year, held annually by a particular province, has become a highlighted event, providing the opportunities to improve the image of provincial tourism, as well as the country's tourism industry.
Năm du lịch quốc gia thì nó là một cái sự kiện hướng tới nhiều mục tiêu, nhưng cải thiện cái môi trường du lịch cũng chính là một trong những cái kỳ vọng mà chúng tôi hướng tới.
As part of the solutions to promote tourism in high potential markets such as Japan, Korea, China, Western Europe, and the US, the sector has applied visa exemptions for visitors from Western Europe and other countries. In addition, Vietnam also looks to enhance cooperations with foreign tourism agencies in order to improve the industry's competitiveness.
We see a high potential in Vietnam. The Air Touristic as a group will definitely invest inside Vietnam, and I think that a lot more projects will come in the very, very near future. So I'm really looking bright to Vietnam and its high potential in the near future.
The sector aims to grow by 6% this year, welcoming 8.5 million foreign visitors and serving 60% domestic tourists, with a targeted turnover of about $18 billion.
Even our neighbors like Thailand, Indonesia, the Philippines are also strong competitors having their own strategies and brands as well. So is branding for tourism so important for a country to position itself in the global market?
I would say it's more than important. Now we consider the tourism industry as an economic sector. Mm-hmm. So for an economic sector, the competitiveness is very important. A destination needs to stand for some value, to be remembered for long enough in the market. One of the weaknesses of Vietnam tourism is communication. Yeah. So how to communicate with the target market about our potential, and even destination management should also convey the values of the brand.
Well, like branding in business, the core value is the influential factor that attract audience to a market. So what is the core value of the Vietnam National Tourism brand?
The first core value of Vietnam tourism is time. Vietnam tourism, as you know, is Vietnam Timeless Charm. International tourists can enjoy time in Vietnam through Vietnamese culture, through the history, through wonderful landscapes, scene, beaches, mountains, deltas, and other wonderful formations, and friendly Vietnamese people through world-class services in Vietnam.
Now let's talk about two examples, Korea and Nepal. Korea is claiming itself as a culture tourism hub in Asia through films and artwork, while Nepal is famous for spiritual tourism and adventurous tourism. So what do you think about these two cases?
The first thing that they focus on very important core value, that's culture, distinctiveness of their culture, the most enduring value for almost every destination, to make a destination different.
As predictions of global tourism grow, Korean filmmakers are joining tourism bodies to maximize the impact of its film locations. Both destination marketers and filmmakers have recognized that movie-induced tourism creates mutually beneficial promotion and caters to the growing desire of travelers seeking out more unusual destinations and experiences.
Korea is known to have many famous TV dramas or TV shows or K-pop that many Vietnamese like to enjoy. We've been promoting Korea by promoting the shooting locations so that the Vietnamese viewers can come to Korea, enjoy the shooting locations. In addition to that, they can also enjoy the culture such as kimchi or many UNESCO cultural heritage and seasonal differences between Vietnam and South Korea, where you can see snow and beautiful flowers and beautiful maple trees.
In Nepal, tourism is the largest industry and also the largest source of foreign exchange and revenue. Possessing 8 of the 10 highest mountains in the world, Nepal is a hotspot destination for mountaineers and people seeking adventure. The Hindu and Buddhist heritage of Nepal and its cool weather are also strong attractions.
We are getting good numbers of tourists for Buddhism segment. It's a pilgrimage segment. We're trying to tap the potential in all the segments as well, be it adventure, leisure, culture of Nepal, because Nepal has a lot more to offer.
Do you think that it's also a feasible solution for Vietnam to develop cultural tourism as a national tourism brand?
Yeah, we convey the values of national tourism brand through 4 product lines. Yeah, the first product line is cultural tourism. And the second product line is sea and island tourism. And the third product line is nature-based tourism. And the fourth one is city breaks. And all the 4 product lines convey the values of Vietnam tourism brand. We also promote cuisine tourism as one of the unique selling points. We have a long-shaped country and 54 ethnic groups. For a diverse destination like Vietnam, we focus each value to a specific target market. For example, for the Northeast market like Japan, they prefer the nature-based tourism in Vietnam. They like Ha Long Bay, and they also prefer cuisine in Vietnam. But for the European market, they prefer the local way of life, culture, heritage. So in each target market, we focus on different product lines because our destination is quite diverse, and we try to be focused as much as possible.
Does that orientation originate from Vietnam's advantages in terms of cultural diversity and also the natural landscape and resources?
Yes, for culture, we have a long history with many things to discover. And for sea tourism, we have famous beaches, especially in the southern part of the central region. For nature-based tourism, we have the beautiful landscape in the northern highland or in Mekong Delta or in Phong Nha Kẻ Bàng.
That also means that some localities will see some interests while many others can see some benefits. So how can we ensure benefits for all?
It's true that some localities have more advantages than other localities. And tourism for all doesn't mean that all the provinces or all the localities develop tourism at the same level. And the concept of tourism for all here is actually in our term we specify comprehensive tourism. Now Vietnam tourism is developing comprehensive tourism. It means that the tourism development benefit all the stakeholders. All the
not the localities.
Not all the locality, but all the stakeholders involved in tourism development, especially the poor people and the vulnerable people.
And that also aims to ensure the sustainable tourism development in Vietnam.
That's right. It's very important. And actually, we also developed secondary destinations because the needs of international tourists are diverse. Some to enjoy countryside tourism and some explore the local way of life. And the secondary destination can support the center of tourism.
The annual 2016 Vietnam International Travel Mart, or VITM, was held in mid-April in Hanoi with the theme Vietnam, the Paradise of Sea and Island Tourism. The event particularly focused on promoting the unique and highlights of sea and island tourism in the country, which has more than 3,200 kilometers of coastline with countless beautiful beaches and thousands of stunning islands. In the development strategies of Vietnam tourism brand to 2025 and the visions to 2030, The national tourism brand is defined to be associated with 4 product lines: sea and islands, culture, nature, and urban. Some travel experts said to successfully build destination brand, Vietnam must find a core value which makes Vietnam's destinations stand out from others in the region. Philip Cotter, the world's famous marketing expert, once said that Vietnam is the kitchen of the world. Therefore, cuisine is one of the values that can be used to promote the country's cultural tourism brand.
Could you tell us more about the roadmap to develop the national tourism brand? How long will it take for Vietnam to have its official national tourism brand?
This year, we are building the strategy for branding Vietnam tourism to submit to the Minister of Culture, Sport and Tourism for approval. The overall of the strategy is to make Vietnam as a tourism destination recognized with specific values. And the specific objectives include raising the awareness and the skill of tourism destination branding. And the second specific objective is to focus on developing specific destination brands. For example, in terms of culture, we focus on some prominent destinations like Hanoi, Hue, or Hội An. For nature-based tourism, we focus on the beautiful landscape in the Northern Highland, the Mekong Delta, or Phong Nha, Kẻ Bàng. Yes. And also we focus on promoting the brand of Vietnamese cuisine. Yes. And also evaluation of the brand is also important. And we are setting up a system to check the images of Vietnam as a tourism destination so that we can evaluate regularly. We need to know how the market perceive about Vietnam as a tourism destination. And by that way, we can identify what kind of information we should provide to the market and what kind of strategies we should use to influence the heart and mind of the target market.
What is the most essential elements of the in the roadmap to develop national tourism brand?
It's very important that all the stakeholders involved in branding Vietnam as a tourism destination, we need the collaboration of all the related ministry and branches, all the locality, the enterprises, the community and individuals. No single entity can develop a brand for a whole tourism destination.
You have just mentioned about the collaboration between stakeholders to develop the national tourism brand. How can we ensure the collaboration, the engagement of all the stakeholders?
It's very important to tackle with this issue. We have to take a bottom-up approach. The communities identify their own brand values with the support of the authority and professional. They should know about the outside environment because they need to know the competitors. And they have to develop the product and the brand by themselves, and they have to be proud of their own destination, and by that way they are the real owners of the brand.
So what are the roles of businesses in developing the national tourism brand? Are they the beneficiaries or the contributors?
Both contributor and beneficiary. They can contribute to the brand because they are one of the stakeholders. They need to bring.
How can they contribute?
They can bring the core values of Vietnam tourism to their customers. The way they introduce, even the way they behave, communicate with the customer.
And launch their products.
And the product. As beneficiary enterprise can benefit from the way customer perceive about the brand.
With the national tourism brand introduced, what do you expect from the development of Vietnam tourism industry in the near future?
From national tourism branding, I hope that Vietnam will be perceived by the target market as a destination of diverse beauties, rich culture, beautiful landscape, especially hospitable and friendly people that can strongly impress. We set the strategy to 2025. Yeah, now actually now we are building a plan to at first to 2020, and each year we set specific plan, direct some specific destination about orientation they should follow. Yeah, under the umbrella of destination branding, and also to strengthen the system of brand evaluation.
Dr. Lê Tuấn Anh, thank you so much for joining us in our show today. The World Travel and Tourism Council has reported an optimistic forecast of Vietnam's tourism growth of 6.2% over the next 10 years. The country's tourism certainly has abundant potentials to offer. Therefore, developing the sector with a well-designed roadmap for its brand promotion and growth orientation is essential. And that also wraps up this edition of BizLine. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember to catch us online at vtv4.vn or youtube.com/vtv4go for more news and updates. And goodbye for now from Hanoi.